So for tonight's class, we are going to be practicing restorative yoga, which is a treat if you've never done it before. Where most yoga is quite active, we're stretching, reaching, pulling, activating. Restorative yoga has the exact opposite application, meaning that the more you relax, the deeper you can stretch and strengthen into different postures. And so, because we're not in a yoga studio that has all the wonderful props that we would use for a regular restorative yoga class, I'm going to ask you to please collect a few things from around your house. And these are things that I feel like all of us have to one level or another. So you'll need 2 bed pillows, just normal bed pillows. I just took these right off my bed. They're nothing fancy. So you'll need those. The firmer, the better. So if they're a little flatter, you might want 3, but 2 should do well. And then 1 to 2 like folded blankets. And so a nice thicker blanket is usually better. So something like a couch throw is probably perfect. So go ahead and collect those items from around your casa. And we're just going to use those as props to, we're going to lay on them. We're going to use them for certain compression exercises. You'll actually learn a lot of cool things that you can do to just relax at home with them. And do your best. If you don't have pillows nearby, you could do like a couch cushion or something. We'll make it work. We're still all at home. Good. So I can't tell if you're back or not. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with the centering practice. And when you get back to the room, just join in the centering practice. All right. So go ahead and sit comfortably when you are back and ready. If you're still collecting things, keep collecting things. It's all good. But when you're ready, sit comfortably. Good. So when you're here, you're going to bring your awareness to your body. Now, when we bring the awareness to the body, generally what I've found in myself and with other people I've worked with is that there's tension and our mind goes directly to that tension. So maybe you feel it in your shoulders, your jaw is tight, or your hips feel tight, or somewhere else. Maybe there's a slight headache or the eyes feel strained. That's pretty normal. But we might not always be aware of are the places in the body that are already relaxed, that are already soft. Can you sense that in your system? Places that don't really need a whole lot of attention or that are already feeling the way that you want to feel, calm, relaxed, soft. And just let your awareness choose your awareness to be in the spaces of your body that are softer, that are more relaxed already, that already feel calm. And as you focus more readily on those softer spaces, the tension in the body might just start to relax. It might follow suit. Relaxing your body, feeling into those softer spaces. Let's take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, take a deeper, fuller breath. Bring your palms to your heart. And just honor yourself as you are in this moment, all of the tension, all of the not tension, your energetic state, your state of mind. That's where we're starting off from tonight. Let this practice be in service to that. Rubbing the palms together. And take the heated palms over your eyes, brushing over the top of your head, down your neck, and bringing yourself back to your space. Good, welcome back. So the first pose we're going to do is asymmetrical. It's a twist. So we'll do it twice, once on each side. And for this, you'll need your bed pillows. So both of them you'll need, and go ahead and bring them to you. So the way that this kind of is going to flow tonight is that I'll demonstrate a posture, then we'll do it, then we'll come up. I'll demonstrate the next posture, then you'll do it, then we'll come up. So it's not like the flowy thing that we normally do here, but it's going to feel really great. And so what this will look like is I'm going to be sitting about halfway forward on my mat. My feet are about mat width apart, so a little wider than my shoulders. And so to set up for the twist, I'm going to take my pillows, and if they're directly behind me to start, if they're directly behind my back, I'm going to take them out to the side about 45 degrees, and they're coming off of my hip. Now you want the closed side of your pillowcases toward your body and the flailing side over there. And you want this really, really close. And so I'm going to be twisting toward the pillows. So I'm going to twist onto my left hip. I'm going to rock up and turn around to look at the pillows themselves. And I might need to adjust them at this point, depending how far you can twist. Now to start, I'm going to compress the pillows closest to my body and start to drape my abdomen and then my rib cage down over the pillows and just rest on my left ear, or my left side of my face. And we're just going to relax here. Now, if you have the flexibility in your neck, you can turn your head to look behind you. But if that starts to feel straining, just come out of it, okay? So if you're not in it already, I'll walk you through it again. Sitting partway on your mat, feet are about mat width apart. And you want to keep them that wide apart. You'll twist deeper this way. And then you'll have the pillows behind you shooting out at an angle. Go ahead and turn toward the pillows, rocking up onto the hip to twist to look behind you. Compress the pillows closest to your body and relax down on top of them. And your arms are just down by your sides, or next to the pillow, sorry. And we'll just start to relax a bit more here. You might be surprised on how much tension we just unconsciously hold. And this will help us to relax that. So relaxing your shoulders, your belly, your legs, ungrip your hands and feet. And relax your breath as well. As I mentioned before, that the less you try here, the less you effort, the deeper into these poses you will go. By relaxing, you are going further here. Relax your neck, relax your jaw, the space behind your eyes. Now, relatively speaking, relaxing the body is pretty straightforward. And oftentimes when the body becomes still, the mind starts moving quicker. You might find yourself thinking about your day or trying to figure something out, or trying to be, if we want to call it a word, productive. That's effort too. The mind can wander. Just don't try to figure anything out with it. So you find yourself trying to figure out the schedule or something, relax that tendency. Maybe just focusing on the relaxation of your body and just let your mind drift again. You'll get plenty of practice at that tonight, don't worry. Now, our first movement from this pose is simply the thought of movement, mentally preparing yourself that you're about to shift your body. And the second movement is the deepening of your breath. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and bring the hands flat to the floor and slowly pull yourself away from the pillows and unwind. And you might now realize just how deep into that twist you actually were. All right. The good news is we get to see what that feels like on the second side. So easy setup because we're already facing and kind of set up how we want to be. We're just going to move the pillows to the opposite angle. And so I was twisting to my left before, now I'm going to twist to my right. Good. And all together now. You can go ahead and rock to the other side, whichever side you didn't do before, and twist to look in the direction behind you. Make sure the pillows are where they feel all right, where you can drape the body down. If not, you can come back up and shift, and then compress the pillows closest to you. And then drape your abdomen, your chest and ribs down onto the pillow. And you can rest on either ear, either side of the face, whichever one feels the most restful for you. And then once you settle in, go ahead and relax deeper. Letting go of tension, relaxing the arms, relaxing the legs. The hips. Relax the head and neck. And then relax your breath. And as your body becomes more still, notice the movement of your mind. And again, the mind can wander. You don't have to control it too much right now. But if you find it trying to effort toward productivity, just trying to figure the thing out, relax that effort. Bring your awareness to the softening of your body. And just let the mind go from there again. This is not a time when we have to effort. Anything that needs to be figured out, it will. It will get figured out, just not right now. Can you relax another layer of effort? Okay, so now again, the first movement is just the thought of movement. And then go ahead and deepen your breath. Sliding the hands back, pressing them into the earth. Go ahead and pull yourself away from the floor and slowly unwind from that posture. feeling sensation. Good. Had to be careful with that one. I could feel myself wanting to fall asleep. Not yet, Jerry, not yet. Okay, so keep relaxing as I set up for this next exercise. For this one, you're going to need, there's two options. If you have two folded blankets, you can use those. And that creates a riser that's about 4 to 5 inches high. Now, if you don't have two thick blankets and or the blankets you have don't equal that, that's fine. What you can do is you can use one of your bed pillows. It might not end up being as high, but two would be way too high. And you'll see what I mean here in just a moment. So I'm going to use my blankets. Again, you can use the pillow if you'd like to. And this will be central on my mat, and I'm going to sit on top of this, just on the edge. And then I'm going to relax down onto my back and have my feet about mat width apart, toes flopping out, my arms by my side. This is basically Shavasana, usually our last pose, but the hips are raised and there's this subtle pull or stretching that happens in the tops of the thighs, in the hips, in the front of the body, the pelvis, and the low abdomen. It's a really great exercise to do to help counterpose a lot of sitting. This is kind of the opposite movement for the hips. So let's go ahead and come into that. Again, you could use a pillow. Again, two pillows is probably going to be too high, so it's better that it's too low than too high. But if you have two folded blankets, go ahead and sit on the edge of that. And you can just be careful as you recline down. Good. And you might actually immediately notice a stretch in the front of the body. I certainly do here, especially if you have tight hips. And now allow the heels to be nice and wide apart, at least as wide apart as your yoga mat. If you're taller, even wider. Like I'm 5'6", and my heels are just about on the mat. Your arms can relax out to your side, palms face up so the shoulders can relax. And then just relax everything else. Relax the shoulders, relax the head, arms, your legs. Let the body be heavy here. You could even imagine that gravity has been increased. You're being pulled toward the core of the planet. Just letting you deepen into this posture a bit more. Relax your jaw, relax your face, your eyes, your throat. You notice when there's feelings of gripping, especially if it's in the muscles of your pelvis or the tops of the thighs or the low abdomen. Just see if you can just let go a bit more here. And of course, as the body continues to relax, allow the mind to be included in that practice. Find yourself trailing off into a to-do list. Break that cycle. Focus on the relaxation of your body. Again, it's okay for the mind to just wander aimlessly. You just don't want it to have to feel like it needs to do anything right now. So again, the first movement is the thought of it. And then when you feel ready, deepen your breath. Now to come up from this, bring your feet flat to the floor, bend the knees, and then just roll to a side, maybe off the props, and then help yourself up to a seat and feel for a moment. Hmm. Just a few inches off the floor does quite a bit there. One thing that I could notice as I was practicing is that um, there was tension in my pelvis to begin with, and as we held the posture, like it all kind of started to move upward toward my belly a little bit. So like I was taking pressure off the pelvic floor, and you can imagine like all those organs normally have so much pressure on them to give them that break. Oh, what a gift! What a gift! All right. So for the next one, if you're using the blankets, you can go ahead and rest them off to the side. And for this one, you'll need one, maybe both pillows. See, even though we're not actively stretching, like reaching, stretching, we're actually getting quite affected here. So the pillow will go in the center of your mat. And if you're going to use a second pillow, just have that around the region where your head will be. And you'll see where that goes in a moment. Good. And you're going to lay on your side. And you want your hip bone to be on the ground. And we're going to arc the body down over the pillow. Now, ideally, your shoulder is on the ground here as well. So with how big my pillow is here, I actually need to come up and squash it down just a little bit. So I'm going to do that so that my shoulder can come all the way down to the ground. My right hip is on the ground as well, and the pillow is compressing into the right side of my abdomen. Good, and I can just relax here if I want to. If you have that second pillow handy, you can bring that to rest on your arm and give your head a nice little place to rest. Okay. So if you're not already here, I'll walk you through the steps. If you're here already, just stay. You're gonna rest on a side. You're gonna have the pillow nice and close to your hip here so that you relax down over it. Now, when you come down, if your shoulder doesn't touch the ground, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come up and squash the pillow closer to your body. And so that when you come back down again, is that the shoulder girdle can actually rest on the floor. Good. And then again, the pillow can be used as a pillow. And for the legs, you can have the legs bent like I have mine now. You can extend them all the way to the ground, maybe stack one leg on top of the other. The free hand, the that's on top here, I just bring it to rest in front of me so that I don't feel the need to tilt forward or backwards. It's just kind of a little bit of a kickstand. And we're just going to relax here. We're just going to relax. Isn't this lovely? Allowing the breath to relax as the body relaxes. And this is just subtle compression into the sides of the body. Might not even feel like much at first, but I can guarantee when we come up, you'll feel at least a little bit of something. Compressing the internal organs on the side of the body. We're also giving a little bit of pressure to the side abdominal muscles. Relax and breathe. When the mind wants to effort, try to let that go as well. Again, the less we effort, the less we try here, the further we go, the deeper we get into these postures. relax. Okay, so again, mentally preparing yourself to move, bringing a deeper breath to your body. And then be careful with yourself as you slowly lift back up, peeling your side waist off of the pillow, and then just sit for a second, especially with these asymmetric ones, and just notice what's happening. It might feel softer on the side you just compressed, especially when compared to the other side, which I'm noticing in my body is quite tighter, quite a bit more stiff. The good news is we're going to balance that out. So a couple of options to get set up for the other side. You could just turn around, or you can hop to the other side of your pillow. Now, for the sake of the camera, I'll hop to the other side of my pillow, but you can do whatever you want. Just make sure you have your spare pillow, if you're using it, toward wherever your head's going to be. So leaning on the opposite side now, again, you're going to want to make sure your hip bone, the pokey bone here, is on the floor, okay? And then just go ahead and relax down over the pillow. And if you get there and your shoulder, again, isn't rooted on the ground, you're going to peel yourself back up. I know. Then push it back, push the pillow back towards your body so that the shoulder can actually come to the floor. And it's going to make sure that you get the most amount of compression on the side body as you can here. And of course, if you want that pillow to actually be a pillow, because our pillows aren't always pillows in these classes, you can bring that on your arm and relax. The legs can do whatever feels comfortable. They could scissor, they could stack. You could have the knees bent. The free hand or the top hand can just rest in front of you gently. Good. Now we've done a few of these postures so far. You know the drill. Let's relax the body. Let's relax effort. The legs, the abdomen, your shoulders, your jaw, your face. If it felt it like worked for your interiority, your system, that idea of gravity increasing, you could bring that feeling back in, that sensation of the weightedness of the body. That can sometimes help. And when the body gets still, the mind starts to run sometimes. So if that's happening for you and it feels effortful, try to relax that too. Let it wander, just not in any particular direction. It's almost as if you're the one watching your thoughts instead of having them. As if they were on a movie screen. preparing yourself to move. When you're ready, take a deeper, fuller breath, and then begin to shift, bringing yourself back up to a seat. Take your time with that transition. Good. And hopefully that second side that we just did starts to feel a bit soft, just like the first side. Okay, so this next exercise that we'll do is a bit more setup than the rest of the ones so far. So you're going to need both pillows, and you're going to need one of your blankets. If you only have one blanket, we're gonna need that one blanket. Good, so I'm gonna unfold mine a little bit here, and it's about 2 feet by 1 foot, give or take a few inches. And I'm gonna take the long side, and I'm just gonna roll it into a cylinder. And for mine, when I get it nice and rolled up, it's about, I'm not good at measuring, it's about 4 inches high. Good. So once I have that rolled up, I'm gonna take it, if I'm looking at my mat here, just maybe like about 1.5 feet from the head of my mat. So my head will be here. Now the idea is we're gonna come to lay down on our backs, and this blanket roll is going to press into the space around your shoulder blades to open up the chest. Okay, so, and once we get into it, if that feels too high, you can come out of it and unroll it a little bit so it's not so intense. But I'm gonna have a pillow over here for a pillow, and I'm gonna have a pillow underneath my knees. Now watch me do this before you come into it, because there's one thing I wanna make sure that happens for you here. Not the pillow under the knees, even though it's really nice to do. The pillow under the knees helps take pressure off the lower back once we lay on the back. Now, when you come to lay down over your blanket roll, overshot that one, you want it to press into the space around the bottom of your shoulder blade. So if you were to reach back, or if you to kind of think about it, there's like little wingtips. You want it to press around into that region, not below it and not too much higher, okay? So I'm gonna relax down onto that, good. It worked that time, sort of. Now, a way to know if you have it right, again, it's not down in the low back, it's definitely pressing into my upper back, but I can take my arms out to the sides here. And if you want to, you can have a pillow. Just have the shoulder still grounding toward the earth. And if the pillow just feels like it's not really doing much for you, you can just relax your head down to the floor. Okay? So go ahead and bring yourself into this position. Again, the most important thing here will be the blanket roll in the back. This is allowing the chest to open up here, getting some relief for that tension that builds up in the pectoral muscles and the muscles in the intercostal muscles, there we go, between the ribs, helping you to take deeper, fuller breaths later. Okay, so if you're still getting settled, just continue to get settled. But if you're there already, find a way to find stillness. The chest is opening. And this can sometimes feel a bit vulnerable for some folks, or kind of exposed. Just notice if that's the case, and then just try to relax that. Breathing calmly. Every breath is an invitation to rest a bit deeper here. You might really be aware of that stretch in the chest and the front ribs. You might be acutely aware of that compression at the upper back. And if there's discomfort there, know that that's okay. That we can breathe with discomfort. We can relax even with discomfort. And through that, maybe even let go of some of that discomfort. Check in with your mind. Relax that too. Especially with this heart opener here. You might even feel emotion come up. That's okay. Just feel it. It's just emotion. So again, mentally preparing yourself to move. Simply the thought of movement. Then deepen your breath. And from this posture, I recommend rolling to a side and being gentle with yourself as you bring yourself back on up. All right. So even passive postures like this, you can feel the heart open. You can feel that maybe even energetic quality to that experience. All right, so we have time left to do a couple more postures, and I'm reconciling my head, which what on my list I'm going to cut because we have a few more that I have listed. I think we're going to go ahead and do crocodile pose. It's one of my absolute favorites, and I think it's one of the most restorative of all yoga postures. And I'll explain why while we do it. Now, the only thing you'll, excuse me, necessarily need for this is your blanket roll, and it can kind of even stay where it's at if you want it to. So just watch me really quickly here. I'm going to come to lay down on my abdomen. And so from the waist down, back there, I'm going to have my heels about mat width apart, the inside arches of my leg or my feet resting on the floor. This allows the pelvis to open up into the ground. And then in my front body, waist up, I'm going to have the blanket roll right around the base of my rib cage. So just below, or just, sorry, just above the floating ribs. So kind of like in the middle of the sternum. And I'm going to cross my arms in front of me and bring the back of my head to the back of my hands. And this helps to elevate the chest off of the floor so that the belly can press down into the ground. Okay. So if you're not here yet, go ahead and join me, coming to lay down on your belly. Again, from the waist down, Have the heels about mat width apart, inside arches resting against the floor, the pelvis and hips opening here. Good. And then for that blanket roll, you'll tuck it just a little bit lower than the chest, a little bit higher than the base of your ribs. So kind of around the bottom of your sternum. And then cross your arms in front of you and bring your forehead to rest on the backs of your arms. And this might take some adjusting here. And again, the point is to have the chest elevated a bit. Good. Now, when you're settled in, we're actually going to be a bit more directive with the breath this time, only slightly though. I'm going to ask that as you breathe, to try to breathe to your abdomen, which might feel counterintuitive since it's pressing into the ground, but draw it there anyway. Inhale, the belly pressing into the floor. Exhale, the belly relaxing. The rest of your body softens into stillness. Now, one of the reasons why this, in my opinion, is one of the most restorative of all yoga postures is that we are breathing to the belly here. The belly is compressed into the floor. That puts gentle pressure on the vagus nerve, which is this nerve that lives on the inside side of your spine. And when we apply gentle pressure behind the navel on that nerve, it sends a signal to your brain to lower your blood pressure and to move your nervous system from that fight or flight state into the parasympathetic restful state. It's like a switch in your body to help relieve the effects of high stress or anxiety or panic. This would be a great one to do if you ever have insomnia. Get out of bed, lay down on the floor on your belly, with or without the blanket roll, and breathe to your belly. This would be a great one to do as well if you find yourself in a panic state, high stress, anxiety, or even a panic attack itself. Breathing to the belly here. Now, as much as I'd love to keep you here even longer, I'm going to ask you now to prepare yourself to move. And you can deepen the breath. You can bring the legs closer together. You walk up onto your elbows, rolling to a side to come up to a seat once again. So take your time in that transition. If you were going to take anything from this class, take that pose. And again, you can do it with or without the blanket roll. If you didn't have a blanket roll, you would still just have the arms almost the same position, the chest lifting away from the floor. This just gives a little bit more support. And if you were to practice on your own to help move out of a panic state, whatever that might be, high stress, anxiety, panic itself, you can rest there for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes if you'd like to. After that, it starts to get a little bit stressful on the physiology of your body, but up to that point, great news, great news. Good, so let's go ahead and move this blanket roll away for a while here. It's worked pretty hard. And you're gonna bring your pillows to stack one on top of the other. Good. Now we're gonna come to kneel here to start. You can actually watch me first. This is gonna be a supported child's pose. And so the rounded edge of the pillows is toward me. I'm gonna bring it all the way to my body and actually kind of sit on it a little bit, just to compress it down, because you want it really close. And then once I'm there, I'm just gonna drape my belly and my chest and down onto the pillows, turning the head to the side. And I'll let you know when about the halfway point hits so we can turn the head to the other side. Okay, it's called balance. Now, if you are a bit taller, you might need more support here. Like I'm only 5'6", and 2 pillows is perfect for me. For you, you might need 3 pillows, or you might need 1 pillow, depending on how your body feels today. Okay, so go ahead and bring the pillows into position here. The knees are a bit wide apart. And then when you're ready, you're just going to drape down over it. We won't be here as long as the other ones because this can be a little bit much for the hips after a while, but it's still quite restful. So adjust as you need to. Settling in. And please turn your head to the opposite side if you haven't done so already. So mentally preparing yourself to move. Take a deeper breath. Walk the hands back to come up to a seat. Okay, so for our last posture tonight, this will actually count as our Shavasana or our final resting posture. And the good news is it's quite restful. And yeah, I like it. I think you'll like it. And there's a few options for it, so watch the tutorial real quick. I'm going to have my pillows here with a rounded edge toward me. I'm going to be laying back over this, so my head will be this way, and my legs will be this way. I'm going to come to sit in front of it to start. I have the pillows pretty close to my hips. I'm going to compress down the side closest to me and slowly recline down over the pillows. Now I could bring a blanket underneath my head here as well if I needed the support. For me personally, this is working well for me. And then for the waist down, you could sit cross-legged like I am doing. You could do butterfly where the soles of the feet are together. This could be a bit much for the hips, but if you have open hips and you want to be here, great. And then of course you can just extend the legs down to the ground and let the feet flop out to the side. Okay, so go ahead and come into that position. I'll again walk you through the different stages as you get set up. Having the pillows behind you, compress them down, recline down over them. Your arms just relax by your sides, palms face up. And then from the waist down, you could have crossed legs if that feels okay. You could do butterfly, feet together, knees wide. And of course, you can just extend the legs to the floor, which is probably the most restful of the three. But do what feels good for you. Good, and relax. Relax. Feel your shoulders and arms heavy. Feel your jaw relax. There can even be this feeling of your eyes sinking deeper into their sockets. And when you think you've relaxed as much as you possibly can, relax again. peace, peace, peace. Go ahead and take a deeper, fuller breath. And make some gentle movements. And as you feel ready, go ahead and bring yourself up to a seat. And just feeling the effects of this pose on your body, your energetic state, your state of mind. And also being aware of the effect of the entire practice on your body, energy, and mind. And so bringing your palms to your heart, lower the chin, and just honor yourself for all of the non-effort you have done here in this practice tonight. Letting yourself let go enough to go just a bit further. And may all of that surrender and this practice continue to serve you. Until we meet again. Namaste.